Hey there, Cody with Princess Craft RV. Come along with me as we go through this 2020 Cirrus 820 truck camper. So let me show you around this thing. Let's get started right up front here in this front diamond plate box. It's got a key lock. To get into it, you're just going to flip the T-handle out and then rotate it. And that's going to allow you to get inside the storage box. Inside, you're going to find two Group 24 wet lead acid batteries from Interstate, which means they do need to be checked periodically for the maintenance on them, which is basically going to be checking the water level. Pop the caps off. You'll have to remove them from the camper to do this. Pop the caps off, check the water level, use distilled water if you need to top them up. Now, nuCamp has started equipping these with the 1200 watt inverter here. That's going to run an outlet on the inside of the camper. Now, there is a big fuse up here at the top too on this thing in case you're having any issues with it. But I'll show you how to turn this thing on and off from the inside of the camper and see if we can keep going here. Camper's equipped with Rico Titan jacks in all four corners. Fully electric, use a remote control to run them up and down. I'll show you how to do that. But if you do have a failure on one of them and you need to manually crank it, first thing you're going to need to do is unplug it from the wall, which is just going to be this power socket right here. Once you get it unplugged, you're going to pop this cap off the top. You will find some grease in there, so try not to get too dirty. And inside you're going to find a 3/8 drive for a ratchet. So you'll need a 3/8 ratchet and an extension to get down in there, and then you can crank these up and down manually. Moving around the side here, this vent is going to be for access to the lower portion of your refrigerator. It's just going to give you access to a couple of things. You've got your 110 outlet in here. It's going to have your control board, which may have some fuses on it. If you're trying to work remotely with somebody, they may have you remove that cover. It's pretty tight, can be a pain. And then we've got your gas valve here with an electronic control on it. This little valve right here is going to be for a manual shutoff for servicing and also for failure. If you have something like that going on, you can shut the gas off there at the valve. It's a good idea to pull this cover off and check for insects, bugs, anything that may be building nests in there. Get those cleared out annually for sure. Now this cover is not tricky to take on and off, but it does have a couple things you want to make sure of. Make sure you get the bottom seated in here correctly. And make sure you get these lock tabs put in all the way. Make sure they get seated, and then you have to rotate them to that position to make sure it's locked. That way it doesn't blow off while you're going down the road. Now just below that, we're going to find your LP storage. This is where your LP cylinders will be. These are just little paddle locks here that you rotate up, and then you can swing your door open. Now it's going to have two 20-pound propane cylinders in it that can be exchanged or they can be refilled, totally up to you. Just remember that when you're transporting one of these, it does need to be in the upright position. Now putting these in the camper or taking them out, one is kind of tucked in behind the wall. This is another vent for this compartment as well. But getting them in and out of here, just gonna put this one in first. We're gonna slide it back into the corner, kind of get your strap. Out from back there, and it's just gonna slide down around the cylinder here and then snap. That's gonna keep it secured. Now we can go ahead and hook up your service line here. And then we can go ahead and put in the other cylinder. Get that one snapped in, and then we can hook up our service line on this one. And then we can turn our service valves on for use. Now, just removing them is going to be the opposite. Make sure your service valve is closed first. Undo your service line. Disconnect your security strap here, and then remove the cylinder from the unit. Now this does have an auto changeover regulator right back here, which is going to be selectable with this lever, or you can run it in the auto mode, which means leaving both cylinders open, and then it'll automatically draw from our primary cylinder, which is determined by this lever, and then it'll automatically drain the other one. We do recommend running it manually, keeping one cylinder open, one cylinder closed, and using the selector switch to change cylinders. That way you know how much propane level, how much propane gas you actually have, or when a cylinder is empty and you need to get it refilled. They make a device that magnetically attaches to the bottom of these now that pairs with your phone and actually will give you a tank level, which is pretty cool. All right, 30 amp power on this truck camper here. Pretty easy to hook up here. 3 prongs, one of them is going to be an L shape. Side of the camper is going to have the corresponding prongs for that. Just going to fit those 2 L-shaped spots together. Give the cord just a little twist to the right. That'll help lock it in. And then we're going to use the plastic lock collar here to get this nice and tight and get a good tight connection on the power cord. Underneath here, you see a vent right here. This is going to be for the propane compartment again. And then we're going to have a quick connect right here for hooking up an exterior gas appliance, such as a stove or a fireplace or something like that to work with. Now it's going to be a quick disconnect. Comes with a fitting in it that can be hooked onto a gas hose. Once a fitting is installed, then you can turn the gas flow on by using the gas valve here, which will also lock the collar from using it. So when you're not using it, you're going to keep this rubber plug in it and the gas valve off. So we got some good side storage compartments back here. These lights in here are going to be an automatic light. So when you stick your hand in there, they're going to turn on automatically, or when you open the compartment, they're kind of motion sensitive, they're going to automatically turn on for you. You can run them off or in a manual mode by moving the switch location. This compartment right here is going to have the same feature. You can see it's just a storage compartment. The light comes on when it's opened. It's going to be the same type of light. And we also have some service access in there for some plumbing and electrical that you would be able to access by removing those 2 screws and then pulling that panel off. All right, our bottom one here is going to be our exterior connection area. We have a port that comes up from the bottom underneath the camper up through that allows you to run your water hose in. And this camper is equipped with the Nautilus P3 water management system, which has a whole lot of features. So we're gonna cut in a video here on how the Nautilus P3 system works. It's got a lot to it. So we'll cut that in. It may look different on a different camper or trailer, but it will be the same operations.
When looking at this compartment here, we have your city water connection here. Now, pressure is very important when we do talk about city water. Reason being is because we want to make sure that we are not overloading the unit with pressure. So it's my recommendation that these units have a working water pressure. Well, specifically with this, so specifically with this camper, that water pressure needs to be ran within 40 to 50 PSI. Now, we do include a water pressure regulator that is going to keep that water pressure below 50 PSI. With any water pressure regulator, it's going to go ahead and hook directly onto the water source. Your hose is going to hook onto the end of that water pressure regulator, and in this scenario, it feeds up through the bottom of the camper and then makes your trailer bound connection here. You also have, of course, a outside sprayer port here. On the inside, we're going to find that corresponding quick connect fitting. That will, again, help you when it does come to utilizing that sprayer. Also, in this compartment, you can see these valves here. Now, these have multiple positions of these valves to accommodate or to accomplish different things. We can see those outlined here on the scale. So whatever you're trying to do, just go ahead and orientate those valves in that correct position, and that will do do what you're aiming to do here. So there is kind of a lot going on in those terms. We also have a cable satellite inlet here. Now, this is just a pass-through cable connection to the designated TV area of the camper. It's going to allow for an inlet of those services. Again, part cable service, aftermarket satellite package. They are just going to feed from this location through the wall to the designated TV area.
Other things that we've got going on in here, we do have your dump valves in here. We're going to have your gray dump valve here on the left, which is going to be your sink and shower water. And then we're going to have your black dump valve on the right, which is going to be for your toilet. And then we've got your 3 drain valves over here for fresh, hot, and cold. Those are going to be, the fresh is going to be for the freshwater tank, and hot and cold are going to be low point drains. Everything will drain out right underneath the camper. Let me show you where to hook up your sewer hose. So this is where we're going to hook up your sewer hose. You're just going to take the cap off, use your bayonet fitting on the sewer hose to connect it on, and run it over to your dump. These 3 plastic hoses here are going to be your freshwater drains and your low point drains. So real quick, let me go over the remote system for the Ryco jacks. Just inside the door of the camper, you're going to have to activate the switch here. So normally that green light's going to be off. You'll just push on the top of the switch. You'll see that green light come on. That means now we can use our remote to operate the jacks. Now, you've got 4 corners here, just as if you're sitting in the driver's seat of your tow vehicle. So your front left, front right, left rear, right rear. Or you can run all 4. So if you do the front buttons, it's going to do all 4 jacks together. Or you can do sides together, or you can do rears together, or fronts together. You cannot run cross angles like this. Try to keep your camper as level as possible when you're raising and lowering it, and you always want it level whenever you are ready to camp in it. That way you don't have any tip over situations. The switch inside will time out after a period of time. Now on the back side of the camper here, we've got your roof access ladder, which does fold up. It's going to snap in up there at the top, and then it does have a safety strap that just wraps around the poles to keep it from accidentally popping open. On your entry door here, it's got your door lock, but they've added the Fiamma entry handle here that can kind of be locked on. If you want to rotate this, you're just going to pull down this little T handle here, and then you can rotate the handle in, and it's going to fit right into this receiver on the door. And then this can actually rotate over the handle and lock. So it's going to be kind of like an added security device as well when you're traveling down the road. If you are worried about somebody coming by and locking you in your camper, just go ahead and rotate this out, close this up, and lock it, and then nobody has access to folding this in and locking you in your camper. On your bumper here, we've got all your lights. This is going to be the door holdback receiver right here. It's kind of hard to see. It blends in with the bumper, this plastic piece. This little half moon right here will snap into that. We've got flip out steps on it here for you, so that first step up to the ground is not too high. All you got to do is pull out from underneath to store them. You're just going to push, kind of pick up and push, and they'll fold right back up in there for you. Right here on the side of the rear bumper, we're going to find a storage for your sewer hose. It's just a screw-on cap that you take off, and then you can feed your sewer hose in there and store it. Just don't forget to put your cap back on, and try not to crank down on it too tight, but make sure it's snug. In this compartment here, we're going to have storage. We're also going to have the switches for your Carefree awnings that you can see up there. We're going to have 2 switches in here for them. Going to be those 2 there. They're going to have main on-off switches here for the auto retract and extend function, and they will automatically move whenever you do that. So when you have it on and you hit extend, it's going to automatically extend all the way out to its fully extended section, and then it's going to automatically stop. When you get ready to retract them, you're just going to hit the retract side of the switch. Once it gets all the way in, just remember to turn your main switches off in here, and you'll be good to go ahead and close and lock your compartment. Just above that, we're going to find your Alde exhaust vent. This is going to be where your exhaust gases are exhausted out from the Alde system whenever you're running it on the gas side. Above that, we've got your exterior 110 outlets. Alrighty, that should cover the exterior of our 2020 Cirrus 820. Let's go check out the inside. Okay, coming inside the Cirrus here on the inside of the door, we're gonna find a few things. A little wastebasket down here, lid just tips up. We've got your fire extinguisher with the green button on top. You'll just wanna push that down and make sure it pops back up to make sure it still has pressure in the cylinder and that it's good to use. Couple of storage pockets here, and then we do have a privacy shade into the window that you just slide up and down. Light blocking as well as privacy. And then we've got your door latch for the inside. If you push it down, it's going to open the door in the green. All the way up is going to be locked to keep anybody from getting into the camper from the outside. Over here to the left of the entry door on the inside, we're going to find your light switches. We're going to have your door light, which is going to be the one single light right over the door coming into the camper. We've got your porch light, which is going to be this LED strip right over the entry door on the outside. We've got your awning light, which is going to be an LED strip running on the main awning on the side of the camper. And then we've got your camera switch. So this unit is equipped with a camera back here that does have to be powered by the switch. The receiver goes into your tow vehicle and they pair wirelessly, and you can see what's going on back here while you're cruising down the road or while you're backing into a spot. Above that, to get into these compartments inside this camper, you're going to have to push that button. The latch will pop out and then allow you to open the compartment. Now in here, you'll find a couple of things. You'll see this receiver box or sender box. This is for that camera. We're also going to find your ALDA overflow reservoir in here behind that big plastic cover. On the other side, we're going to find your bathroom. So in here, we've got your flip down sink. So this is going to flip down. You're going to have your faucet in there. For your flow control will be this stem here, folding it away from the center out towards the wall, and then back towards the back wall, or the side wall, excuse me, will be hot. Towards you will be cold. And you do have a stopper there for it as well. And this does travel in the upright position. Now your toilet's a foot flush. So all you have to do is push the pedal halfway. That's going to put water in the bowl. Once you're done, you'll push it all the way. And you can see that that blade down there will open, and that'll actually allow everything to go down into the black tank. Now you do have your toilet paper, covered toilet paper holder in here. We do have some ALDA heat coming out in here for you, behind this thing right here. And then we do have your shower control. So that's going to be controlled with this little stem right here. This little guy right here. By tipping it away from the wall will allow water to flow. Left will be hot, right will be cold, and you just mix your temperature anywhere in between. And then you just have your wand here that you can hold or leave hanging up here and position how you would like it. And you can adjust the height on the shower wand by loosening the adjuster right here. Just turn it and that'll allow you to loosen it. Overhead, we do have an exhaust fan. To open it, you'll push up on this little black button right here, which will allow you to push the vent up. Once you get it open, then you can turn the fan on, which is going to be this little button right here to ventilate. It also has a fuse in it, and then this button right here is going to be for the light around the ring. And then just pull it when you're ready to close it to keep any rainwater or anything like that coming in. We also have your extendable clothes bar in here. This unit is equipped to have a shower curtain that hangs in here to cover the door, which you'll find right here in the wall holder. And then there's a little black vent that passes through right here from the bathroom to allow heat transfer from the bathroom in and out. Okay, moving into our kitchen area here overhead, we've got another storage compartment. Find your little nuCamp goodie bag in here. You're going to find the owner's box for your camera that comes with the unit. And up here in the top, you're going to find your 110 outlet for your microwave. Good thing to know about that is that you can knock that out whenever you're putting stuff or taking stuff out of the cabinet. Just pay attention to that and try not to unplug it. While we're talking about microwaves, it is just a standard turntable microwave. Put your stuff in it, set the time, let it go. Coming down to our kitchen, our shades here, and this goes for all the shades in this camper. They all work the same way. We've got your day screen, which is kind of like a bug screen that you can pull down and clip into the other shade. If you want the night shade, it's going to be this one. You can pull that one up, and it's going to be light blocking as well as privacy. Nobody can see through it. Now to get these to separate, it's just this little plastic clip. All you have to do is lightly pull out on that, and that'll allow those shades to separate. If you pull too hard, these will pop right off, so try not to pull too hard. Now all your windows open and close the same way as well, and they all have the same features, so let me show you how these work. We've got two latches here, and then we've got a couple with buttons that do lock. So once you get everything opened up, you can push this out, and then you use these lock knobs here to snug these up, and that'll hold your window open. Now these also have a kind of a smaller vent portion, so if you're getting a lot of rain, you may want to close down to just this slot right here. Instead of all the way in, you can go in this slot with them. So let me show you how to do that. When you get ready to close this, loosen one side up, hold the window with the other hand, and then loosen the other knob so it doesn't slam shut. But basically all you got to do is pull this down, and then you're going to take and turn these into that middle groove. And that leaves you just enough here for some fresh air ventilation, and it'll do a good job at keeping the water out. Do not forget to latch those when you travel. Those windows will blow off if they get wind behind them. Our cooktop here, when you open this up, it's going to just sit back like that. When you get ready to close the glass cover, you do have to pick up slightly on it to tip it forward. But all you have to do is tip it back to get it open. Now, whenever you get ready to light this, you're just going to turn this to the light section, and then you're going to push and hold the igniter right here. This thing's going to pop and light. Once it gets lit, you can set your temperature, do your cooking, and you'll be good to go. Just remember that these are designed to be used with smaller than most of your home dishes, so you don't build up too much excessive heat in here and cause issues somewhere else. Let your burners cool completely before you close your glass cover. All right, our monitoring station back here and our ALDA control panel. For the ALDA system, to turn it on and off, this is going to be for your heat and your hot water. You're just going to turn the button on. You can see there it's going to power up. Once it gets to the main screen, this will be your main screen. You can see here the room temp, corresponding temperature, and you can see here it shows electric power. Now we can change things. We can go into the menu, and you can see our room temperature is set for 60 degrees. This is for your heat control, so if you want it warmer, you're going to turn this up. If you don't want it to come on at all, you want to turn this thing all the way down. That's what I recommend. Now this one right here is going to be a shower boost, so if you've got a bunch of people that need to shower, you can turn this on, and that's going to kind of boost your shower output, and it's going to override the thermostat for a little bit and give you some additional hot water. Now this is going to be our electric right here for hot water and heat. If you turn that one on, you can select 1 kilowatt or 2 kilowatt for how much power you're using to get things going. Or you can select gas, which is going to be here. So if it's green, that means it's on that mode. There are some other features in this thing. There's timers and all that. There's quite a bit to this. Recommend reading the owner's manual to read more about it. Okay, your nuCamp information center here. This little guy right here is going to tell you your tank levels. You touch the screen. It's going to bring up your tank levels, fresh, black, and gray, to tell you how much is in each tank. And if you touch again, you'll see it's going to have your battery display. Right now it says we're at 14.4 volts. It says coach, that's your camper. And then that's what will be between those two screens. Our switch controls down here. Our water pump switch first is going to be for pressurizing if we're doing some dry camping or we need access to water while we're traveling down the road. Our ceiling light is going to be this 3-light ceiling light that's over here over the dinette. And then we've got our sink light, which will be this strip light that's right here over the sink. And then we've got our accent lighting, which will be the lighting that's back here behind the sink. And then also we've got some over the cabinets, above the dinette as well, by the bed. It controls all of that accent lighting throughout the camper. That's going to bring us to our charge station. So we do have a charge port over here, 12-volt accessory charge port with 2 USBs that you can plug into to charge, and our 110 GFCI outlet. Can trip, can reset. If you plug something into another 110 outlet that's down the chain on this, it may cause some issues. If that red light is on, that means this thing is tripped. Just push the reset button and the light should go off. Moving down below our kitchen sink here, we're going to have some good storage area down here. I recommend checking your P-traps periodically, just the hand fittings on them, making sure that they are snug. We've got your 3 storage drawers. And then you'll see these accesses cut down here into the bottom of the cabinet. That's where the heat's going to come out from our ALDA radiant heater system. So if you're using it, try not to block those or cover them up. That'll hold the heat in the cabinet instead of letting it out where you want it. Overhead, we're going to have your Dometic vent fan, 3-speed setting, and then we can do air in or out. And then they just crank up and down. The lid just cranks up and down with the handle there. Right here on the wall, kind of behind the vent fan, you will find your smoke alarm. And inside of it, you will find a 9-volt battery that does need to be inspected and replaced as necessary. Just push the test button on it like you do at home. Make sure everything's working as it should. So over here above our dinette, we do have 3 storage compartments that open up and have the same latches as everything else in the camper, which is going to bring us down to our dinette area, which it will also make into an additional bed. Now to do that, we do have to remove our lagoon table. So to remove the table, first thing we're going to do is loosen up the handle for the top. So we can take this off of here. And then I'm just going to set that aside. Now these things are completely adjustable for how they swing and do everything else. Same with the height of it, will be this leg here. You can rotate this loose and then this just slides up and off. Now before I make it down into a bed, let me show you what we've got down here. There is another charge station USB port over here. We do have your LP CO alarm down here with a test button on it that's going to make a bunch of noise if we do get any kind of gas leaks. Then we've got another GFCI outlet. So to make your bed, you're going to take your tabletop and place it in between. And then we're going to take our cushions here and we are going to make this into a bed. And then you have some pillows there as well. So putting it back up will be just the opposite. And now we can put our tabletop back in and we can set our height. Remember, the stem has to go up in order for the tabletop to sit on it. We're just going to fish this right back on here to this guide. And then all we've got to do is tighten it up. And then we're going to take our tabletop here and we're going to fit the stem back into this empty hole. And then you can tighten that up. And then these can be moved around. You can kind of position this however you'd like it by moving these and loosening these handles to be able to spin the tabletop around. So you can position it up against the wall out of the way, still have some seating space, move it over in front of you for eating, or just put it wherever you would like it. Let's talk about our Norcold refrigerator. So this is going to operate pretty simply. It's got 4 buttons on it, and one of them is going to be this 12-volt power switch right here. If you're going to want to run this on the 12-volt mode, that does have to be turned on. 12-volt mode is not one that we generally recommend around here because most of our customers end up with dead batteries when they run in the 12-volt mode. So we do recommend either AC mode or auto mode or LP gas, which are going to be our other 3 buttons here. We're going to have our main on-off button. All you have to do there is literally push it for on and off. And then we're going to have our mode button right here where we can select between, you can see the icon moving around there. Right there is just AC. That's LP gas, that's DC, and then that's auto mode right there, and it's selected AC power. So if we're in auto mode and the light is over here, that means we're in auto mode LP gas. Everything is automatic. It's going to do everything on its own, depending on how you set it. They do take anywhere from 12 to 24 hours to completely cool, so we do recommend prepping the night before and letting everything get nice and cold. The last button will be your temp set button. You've got 1 through 9, 9 being your coldest. All you have to do is push the button and cycle through. Now to get in, it's going to be this little thumb latch right here. All you have to do is push up on that, and the door is going to swing open. Inside you will find your refrigerator down below and your freezer up top. Below my feet down here is going to be your WFCO power distribution panel. To get the lid open, just push in on it and it'll pop out. Inside you will find your 110 breakers and your 12-volt fuses. I do recommend that you purchase a variety of 12-volt fuses to keep on hand. Just in case you do blow a fuse, you can easily replace it. A couple other things right here next to your WFCO power distribution panel. We're going to find your SmartCamp switch right down here. This is going to turn on your antenna for the SmartCamp system. Best resource for that's going to be looking at the owner's manual. Check it out. It's an app on your phone. It's going to control some things. It's kind of a cool feature that's new to the 2020 A20 truck camper here. Above that's going to be your Ames on-off switch for the Ames power converter. So to turn that on, you're just going to push the button. You'll see the orange light come on, which means AC mode, which means everything's good to go. So that's going to run the outlet that's right here, kind of up behind the bed, give you some access to charging and things like that. You also have a 12-volt accessory port back here as well. Now, while we're up here in the bedroom area, these little lights that are on the sides are controlled with the little button on them. They default to blue if you just turn them on. If you press the button longer, it'll come on as a white light. So we've got little storage compartments here on each side that just open up. Over on this side, we're going to find your Jensen radio, which is going to be your entertainment hub. It's got an HDMI hookup into it where you can set up a DVD player over here and run through it. Bluetooth so you can stream music to it, all that good stuff. AM, FM radio, does pretty much everything you need to do. Storage compartments along the top on both sides. And then we've got your Jensen TV tucked away over here against the wall. This does have a travel lock on it. That's going to be this little knob up here on the top. You just have to pull up on it right here, and that'll allow you to swing the TV out. So this will swing around so you can watch it from the dinette. You can swing it around to where you can watch it on the table. It'll move away from the wall and everything a little bit too on that. Now there is a booster plate back here tucked in behind, which is going to be this plate right here that the coax is hooked up to. You can see there's a little green light that comes on there. If you want to use the over-the-air antenna, you're going to want that green light on to give plenty of power to the booster on that and get in your channels. Now this TV is 12-volt power, so you can watch this and dry camp and have TV available to you. Overhead, we're going to find your Coleman air conditioner with the controls on the face of it. So your air conditioner control here only has 3 buttons. It's going to be your fan. You're going to just cycle through by pushing the big button here. You can see it's going to cycle fan low, fan high, high cool, low cool, auto low cool, auto high cool, and then off. So we're going to recommend that you generally run either high cool or auto high cool, and then you can select your temperature setting by using your up down arrows for your desired room temperature. You got your 2 end vents here that can be controlled for closing them off. So if you're laying up in here in bed, you don't like air blowing right on you, you can close this side vent and then open it back up. You also have the 2 little vents here that open up, and these can rotate so you can angle some airflow to where you're sitting. And then we've got filters on both sides that do have to be removed and cleaned. To pop them down, you're just going to pull down on these 2 little tabs. Inside you'll find your filter, pull it out, clean it with some warm soapy water, let it dry before you put it back in. And then just snap your cover back in place like that. Now one thing that nuCamp does use under their beds is going to be the Frawley sleep system, which are all these little things here. So it's to help your solid mattress here feel more like a kind of like a coil spring mattress, give a little more support, a little more cushion without throwing a more expensive high-end mattress in here, if you will. All right, Princess Craft fans, thanks for coming along with us today as we went through this 2020 Cirrus A20 truck camper. If I've missed anything, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Ask us any questions that are on your mind. And again, I am Cody with Princess Craft RV.